Back down the straight for race number 3,000 metres here. It's a Class 4 contest with 6 debutants lining up here. Some of them, well, they've all been trialling pretty well, to be perfectly honest. We'll have a look at them in due course. Headed by Look Eras, though. Decent speed for Look Eras. He comes from barrier 9. Meridian Genius, beaten favourite. He was run up behind Winning Supreme last weekend. Brilliant. Iron King, Lucky Thought, Shining Ace, Simply Elegant and Whiskey Nights all hit the racetrack for the first time. Sunshine Emerus with the blinkers off, drops from the 1650 on the all-weather back to the 1,000 metres, but he's run well over the trip in the past. Chung Fa, Lightning Steed, has been up to Chung Fa and back in the last 30 days. He came back on the 31st.
Well, there is 6 debutants here, so the chance of variation is high. Look Eris, Multi, Max, Meridian Genius, they're exposed. They've all got speed. Lucky Thought, Shining Ace, probably both to head forward. You would think that Whiskey Night will sort of get towards the back part of the field, but good, potentially good to fast in the 3rd race of the day.
First one we'll have a look at here is Iron King. He's one of the first starters and he's looked quite good in some of his work. He's 1,073 pounds. He's had 3 trials and he's been a little bit slow away in a couple of them, so let's just keep an eye on. But he's by Furlax, so we haven't seen many of that progeny, if any, up here. Another of the first starters here, Shining Ace. He looks a really nice type. 11.34. He's had 3 trials. Joe Moreira. He's got plenty of ability, this guy. He's a little bit green in a couple of those trials, but he's learning all the time and he goes nicely. And Bella Baby, I've just sort of highlighted him. He's another one of these exposed horses. He's had a few more starts than the rest with 6, but he's showing a little bit of ability down the straight and just putting the cross noseband back on him, so worth highlighting that.
All right. E-Star and Winning Warrior, 2 other Furlaxes, but they haven't hit the racetrack yet, so okay. He's the first one. Yep. Iron King, we'll see how he goes. We'll start off, though, with Look Eras, who we've seen a fair bit. 32 starts he's had, but he's saluted 3 times. Yeah,
and one of those wins was over this course and distance. He's also been second over the straight 1,000 from 4 starts. Hasn't won this season, but he's been quite consistent. He's got a little claim and a reasonable barrier. He will be there for a fair way. Whether he's there at the end, I've got a question mark alongside of his name. I went with others, but I think he'll stick for a while.
Yeah, there was 1,000 there, wasn't he? He's just sort of coming to the end of it there. So interesting to see how he does go down the course and distance. As you mentioned, he's only had 4 goes down there and he has 1.
All right, Meridian Genius had 2 starts so far, both down the straight. He was favourite for this race last weekend, ultimately running second to that horse in front of him.
Yeah, look, he switched off the rails there, I thought, and just lost a little touch of momentum, and he looked a little bit flat about there and looked like he was going to run a clear second. Really liked the way he fought to the line. The horse in front might have been a little bit tired as well, but about here I thought he really picked up, hit the line, and the gap did open up on the rail, but Karras wasn't to know at the time, and he was in front of stride past the post. He's had the 2 runs now. He's super fit, and I'm going to go with him.
Yeah, I've tipped him as well, but I think there's other runners in the race that certainly create some interest. And that barrier 3, is a bit different to 14, although they have been winning down the middle part of the track for a season or so, as we know.
All right, let's go to the debutants. There's 6 of them, as mentioned before. We'll start off with Iron King and his jockey, Umberto Rispoli.
Iron King, Umberto, you've ridden him in all of his barrier trials. What can you tell us about him?
Yeah, he's a very nice little horse. He's been training for a long time now. He's a horse. Then in the first trials he showed something nice. The second trial he was a bit keen on the dirt, and the 3rd time then he trials, we decided to sit him behind just to teach him something behind the horses, and he finished off pretty well. But it's the first time, so it's gonna be easy actually.
Looking at that most recent trial, as you said, you sat behind. He looked quite keen. What's he like to ride?
Well, he's a horse. It's not difficult to control him, but he's a horse. Then he likes to be on the speed actually. So if you try to send him out of the gate, he can be keen, and he can race for 600-700 meters, and then he will stop. So the perfect race for him is going to be with a good speed. Obviously, 1,000 meter. Sometimes there's always a speed zone, and but like I say, it's his first time, but he can run well.
So what sort of expectations do you have first up?
Well, expectation that I have, I wish then he can win, but obviously a few horses already with a good start in the race. Meridian Genius, I think, is the more dangerous, even if he runs after 6 days, but he's the horse to beat, but I think we can run a decent race.
That's good to hear. Bit of confidence there, but education seems to be the key with him.
Yeah, it sounded like there Umberto was sort of suggesting, you know, he's been a bit keen in the mornings, which I've noticed as well, but they tried to sort of teach him to settle in and sit in and try and close off. So not sure which way he'll end up racing on the day, but one of a few of the newcomers that looks to be able to have some ability.
It definitely looks like he's got ability. The thing with it, he has been a little bit slow away in those trials, so if he is slow away from the gates, then the decision is probably going to be made for him. It just depends how keen he gets in the middle stage.
I think if he is slow, that works out well. Then
Yeah.
probably he can sit in behind and then close off.
Yeah, he's clearly got an engine, what we've seen so far. Lucky Thoughts, he can gallop as well, and Simple Elegant, we're looking at here.
Simple Elegant's going to have blinkers and a hood on for his debut run. He's had the 3 trials and he was under a lot of pressure here, so I'm going to give him a miss. But Lucky Thought, I thought he's going really well. He's won a trial and he ran second behind Champion Way as well. So he's trialled well in all 3 trials. The only little question mark I had with him is by Savabeel, so you think he'll want to be a bit longer in time. But he could run a good, nice race fresh, so I'm going to find a place for him.
And conversely, the other one's by Piero, who won a Golden Slipper, so maybe he might be better suited. But I am looking at the 6 primarily.
Shiny Ace here trialling at Happy Valley. Of course, Size Moreira debuted on Midweek Champions Way, who came out and won as well. Yeah,
and this is trialled just as good, I would have thought. This was actually potentially going to get a start a week or so ago. Didn't happen. He was a standby starter and didn't get a run. But he's a runner of interest. He looks well educated, looks nice and relaxed within himself. So I get the feeling he'll get better with racing and distance, but he'll be competitive.
Yeah, I've definitely got him in. He looked a bit green, but look, he looks like he's got that raw ability.
So 6 debutants, but the favourite for you, Paul?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Meridian Genius. The reason being is there's the unknowns and the other horses, and he's had the 2 runs, and we know he's got the ability because he ran really well last time. So with that under his belt, I think he might not end up being the best horse in the race, but at this stage, I think he is. So I've got him on top to beat Lucky Thought, again by Savabeel, a bit further for him, but he's looked good. So is Shining Ace, he looks really nice, and Iron King we heard from Umberto. So I'm going to take the first starters to run 2nd, 3rd and 4th. I think Meridian Genius at this stage can beat them. 2, 6, 7, 5.
I've actually gone the same way, Paul. I think all the newcomers create some type of interest, but I went with Meridian Genius. You know what you'll get. He'll jump, he'll run, try and get to that outside rail. Shining Ace, Lucky Thought. I've thrown in actually Brilliant. I think he could run a bit of a race at a price. I'm not against Iron King either. Simply Elegant and Whiskey Knight are the 2 I've sort of got question marks alongside of. So 2, 7, 6, 4 for the record, but as you can see in that trio, I included Iron King.
Yeah, Lightning Steed as well. It's probably
another well.
Yeah, but I'll take a chance with Iron King, but Meridian Genius, clearly the one to beat there on what we've seen so far.